As you get older and become ingrained in the workforce, it's not uncommon for you to lack the energy and commitment for the things you love to do. I turned 28 last year, and as I've been documenting for the past 3 years, my consumption and appetite to play video games has been on the steady decline. 2025 was no exception. I went from beating 63 different games in 2023 to 20 in 2024, and to a lowly 14 in 2025. Sure, to the average person, 14 games still seems like a large amount, but it's the amount of time that it takes to beat all of those games that really gives you a different perspective about how you choose to spend what little free time you do have. You might also find yourself going back to your comfort games, your bread and butter, the games that no matter how much you've played them, you just can't seem to quit. These are the games that I played in 2025. Sonic Team has struggled to find a balance for Sonic in the modern era, with games like Sonic Mania gaining acclaim for dipping into the nostalgia well, while their more adventurous ideas like Sonic Unleashed and Sonic Forces fall by the wayside. Personally, I'm a fan of the modern games, despite their varying qualities. I've got a soft spot for the games like Sonic 06 and Sonic and the Black Knight, but Sonic Team chose to reinvent the series again with Sonic Frontiers, the proclaimed open zone game. Gone are the on-rails levels, those are safe for side missions. Frontiers really emphasized the mantra of gotta go fast. In a game about speed, I wanted to utilize it. I'd sprint across the Starfall Islands to get to the next objective, why would I need to fast travel? Frontiers isn't a perfect game, but it's a step in the right direction for the franchise. I took the time to 100% the game, and after years of holding off on playing, Sonic Frontiers was a great way to kick off the year. Have you ever scrolled through your Steam library and come across a game that made you say, when the hell did I buy this? That was my reaction seeing Make America Great Again, the Trump presidency sitting in my account. I went through my purchase history and apparently I purchased it along with a bunch of other shovelware games back in 2017 for around like $4. Regardless, it's a shoddy port of a mobile game, plays similar to Risk, it's not good, it doesn't control well, it was a waste of time, don't buy this. I first played Sonic Generations on the PlayStation 3 back when it came out, but I never finished it. I wasn't a fan of having to do tons of side missions in order to get the Chaos Emeralds to fight the final boss. Playing through it again now, I still don't enjoy doing all those side missions, but the 3D levels were still fun, while I kinda struggled to enjoy the 2D levels. They felt a bit too floaty, but it was nice to revisit and beat a game I started when I was half the age that I am now. I kicked off February with Assassin's Creed 2, a game I also played on the PlayStation 3 back in the day. I use play lightly, as most of my time with the game was my friend coming over to my house and playing through the game while I watched. He ended up getting to the part early on when you first meet Leonardo da Vinci, and that's where my journey with Assassin's Creed 2 finished. I finally picked it back up this year, and ended up playing through all of the games in the Ezio trilogy. The PC ports of all the games have some wonky controls that don't map well to the keyboard, but I powered on and played 2 and Brotherhood back to back, with a brief intermission before tackling Revelations. If I had to rank the trilogy, my gut reaction would be Brotherhood first, Revelations second, and 2 third. Fun story, and it made me want to explore more of the Assassin's Creed series. That brief intermission between Assassin's Creed Brotherhood and Assassin's Creed Revelations was playing through the campaign of Halo 3 ODST. A friend and I have been going through the Halo campaigns together, as I never got past the Silent Cartographer in Halo 1 as a kid. ODST didn't quite click with me like the previous games had, and we blew through the campaign in 2 sessions. We kept talking about playing Halo Reach after, but I held out hope that we'd be able to put together a 4-man fire team to do so, but no dice. Maybe 2026 is the year for that. After a handful of story games, I wanted to play something simple, something I could play mindlessly, maybe in a genre I hadn't explored before. Dota 2 had just wrapped their Crownfall event in January, and the final minigame in the saga was Nest of Thorns, a Vampire Survivors-esque game that served as the conclusion to the months-long story. I never understood the appeal of Vampire Survivors and the genre it spawned, but Nest of Thorns made everything click and had me thinking, okay, maybe I'll give this genre a fair shot. So instead of going the obvious route, I opted to play Brotato instead, and it consumed all of my free time over the course of a week or so. While I wasn't obsessed enough to clear Danger 5 with every character, I still managed to win or run on higher difficulties with all of the 62 characters. Fun game, no notes. Like many others, I was obsessed with Avatar: The Last Airbender as a kid, yet I never took the time to watch The Legend of Korra. In order to properly play the Platinum Games developed Korra game, I binged the entire series over the course of a few days just so I could play the game with knowledge of the series. Needless to say, that wasn't necessary. The game isn't good, you can beat it in one sitting, and it doesn't even follow the plot of the show. Anyway, quick ranking of the Legend of Korra seasons. Book 1 is better than Book 3, which is better than Book 2, which is greater than or maybe equal to Book 4. I'll pair the next 2 games together since they both follow a common thread of games I bought a decade ago and barely played. The Legend of Zelda: A Link Between Worlds and The Legend of Zelda: Ocarina of Time 3D. Link Between Worlds exists in a weird space between being a throwback to the classic Zelda games of old and the open world, go wherever you want style of Breath of the Wild. The game had a lot of charm, but I was underwhelmed with some of the puzzles and kept railroading myself in the wrong directions trying to navigate the overworlds. On the flip side, we have Ocarina of Time 3D. Despite spending countless hours watching speedruns in the early days of Twitch, I had never actually played the game for myself. There were even genuine moments of surprise for me, like finding myself in the Ice Cavern, a place I didn't even know existed. You can still see remnants that this was a game that originally released over 25 years ago, but I can only imagine what it was like to see places like Hyrule Field for the first time back when it released. Does beating Mario Kart World just mean playing through all of the cups and unlocking Rainbow Road? Because if so, then I beat Mario Kart World this year. I didn't renew my Nintendo Switch Online membership, so I never got to experience the game itself online, but I still enjoyed playing the new Knockout Tour mode. I must say though, World's rendition of Rainbow Road might be the single best track in the history of the franchise. These next two games hit just a little bit different. Due to the nature of my job, I didn't have work for the majority of the summer and was under the impression that come the fall, everything would be back to normal and I'd have steady income again. Lo and behold, September rolled around and I was informed that I wouldn't be renewed for my job, leaving me out to dry. I'd been looking for additional work during the summer, but struggled to find anything. Finally, around mid-September, I landed a trial job at a company that would require me to actually commute to an office for the first time since the pandemic. This was a big change for me, as it required changing my entire schedule that I had gone about for the past handful of years. After a few weeks in the position, I started to dread going into the office, feeling as if I was wasting away my day not doing anything productive. It wasn't until mid-October that I had an incentive that had me excited to leave at the end of the day: Pokemon Legends ZA. I'd play it for hours after coming home from work, and would think about the game the next day when I was back in the office. I strived to complete every Pokemon game, from the Pokedex to the side quests, in order to embody what the franchise once encouraged, the gotta catch 'em all mindset. Shout out to the free trial for Nintendo Switch Online, otherwise it would have been impossible for me to finish all of the research tasks and evolve all of my Pokemon. And then there's Donkey Kong Bonanza. I've talked in the previous yearly videos that 3D platformers are my favorite genre, and how those games always end up finding me during critical junctions of my life. That trial job appeared to me like it wasn't going to lead anywhere, so I ended up leaving and taking a job at a small company doing work that was more in line with what I had been doing for the past few years, and back at the comfort of my own home. Like Legends ZA, Donkey Kong gave me something to look forward to at the end of the day, possibly even to my own detriment, as my Switch 2 called out to me throughout the day like the Green Goblin mask. I'd sit there hours into the night playing Bananza, finding every last Banandium gem and smashing my way to the planet core. Unfortunately, I already had the big reveal lightly spoiled for me from YouTube thumbnails and Twitter posts, but I had never actually seen it for myself. When I finally reached it, I had such a big grin on my face that I couldn't even be mad. The game was everything I wanted and more. Lastly, there are two more games that I couldn't really beat that I played for a significant amount of time in 2025. First was REMATCH, the arcade-style soccer game. I poured in dozens of hours playing with friends, and it even became part of my morning routine as I'd catch up on the live feed updates of Big Brother 27. I started to burn out after about 100 hours, as finding a match started to take too much time during the early hours of the day. And finally, there's Dota 2 again. Like a hopeless addict, I just can't stay away for too long. I played sporadically at the beginning of the year before binging hard during the spring, and even achieved my highest rank to date. I mostly stayed away during the summer, but come TI season it was time to get back behind the wheel, and it's what I primarily played for the rest of the year. I struggled to get back to my previous rank, culminating just a win or two short, and I finally thought I was out. Then they dropped a Monster Hunter collab, and all I wanted to do was complete every entry in the Hero Atlas. I finally achieved that and thought I was done for the year. Then they dropped Largo and I had to boot it up again just to complete his entry before finally closing it for good just as the year came to a close. I tell myself this is the time that I'll go on a long break, but who am I kidding? I'll come back. I always do. Also, a quick side note, I got my second ever Rampage at the beginning of the year but didn't have many people to show it to, so here it is.
Amazing performance. Impossible kill. That was unreal. Ultra. My favorite kill is the monster Rampage. I almost got that in my last bot match.
So yeah, 2025 was a quieter year for me in terms of playing games, but my biggest takeaway from the year was to just enjoy the time that I do spend with the games, because if that's how I'm choosing to spend my free time, I might as well enjoy it. See you all next year, if I decide to do this again. Bye. Oh, I also played the Survivor card game with a couple of strangers one night. It was a fun time. Would definitely recommend it if you're a fan of the show. Naturally, I won, because that's what I do.